Thank you, and good morning, everyone. So this is the third time I'll be speaking about the WhisperGate campaign run by Russian GRU officers. But in this case, my colleague, Dr. Anders Carlsson, will join me. And attribution is probably the most controversial topic after AI. And we will talk about why we choose actually WhisperGate and as a case study, and what findings have we discovered using AI. And this is our Blekinge Institute of Technology, where I and Anders work. As you can see, it's located at the Baltic Sea, so that makes it a perfect spot to observe Russian drones flying over the sea. So I'm a teacher, I'm a malware analysis trainer, so I've been teaching how to analyze malware for the last 15 years. I also do malware analysis as a founder of research laboratory. And welcome my colleague Anders Carlsson, who is a former submarine officer, Europol trainer, and digital forensic expert.
Yes. Little bit background. I started working with Ukraine because I had a military PhD that academic didn't like, so I did a PhD in Kharkiv, and I've been working with Kharkiv a long time. Alex and me, we deployed our first advanced malware analyze course, 2012, I think, both in Sweden and in Ukraine. And we have been working with a lot of infrastructure attacks in Ukraine since 2014, both with government and private organizations. Short.
So just to remind, what WhisperGate is. So before the full-scale invasion of the Russian army to Ukraine, there was one major attack called WhisperGate. It was actually a set of attacks, actually 3 different vectors, and then this attack was followed by another similar attacks that used file and disk wipers that targeted Ukrainian government, financial, critical infrastructure organizations. And as you can see, they started before the full-scale invasion, and then they last for several months, and all of these attacks had similar destructive capabilities. So, just to remind what WhisperGate is, this is the third time I show this slide. So the first part is actually false flag. This is the defaced government website. In this particular case, this is the Ministry of Education, where attackers published that these attacks were performed by Polish hackers. But of course, nobody believed in that, and it was actually GRU operation. Then there were 2 different cyber kill chains. One was using file wiper, and another one was disk wiper. So both aims at government servers to destroy them and to take down the critical infrastructure, government infrastructure. And the attribution that was provided, the first report was published by Microsoft, and they actually used some temporary dev 0586 APT attribution ID, but they attributed it to GRU because of some common signs with these operations and geopolitical context. But why we actually choose WhisperGate as a case study? Because as you can see, during the timeline from 2022 till now, in 2025, there were multiple reports coming year by year, revealing more details, more information about who is behind the WhisperGate operation. And finally, the attribution that is made is actually Ember Bear, GRU unit 25155. This is what Anders will talk about this military unit. And the attribution started immediately after attack happened. The Microsoft published the first report where they assigned some temporal ID for the group. Then several days later, ESET published also research paper, analytical paper about this attack, where they most likely attributed all of the Viper's attack to Sandworm. Sandworm is also another group which is subordinated to GRU commandership. Then the publication came from CrowdStrike on January 19, where they say that the activity is reminiscent of Voodoo Bear, which is a sandworm, and this is another GRU unit. But they say that the indicators and tactics and techniques were different in this case. So they were not sure that this is the same group, but it was assumption that this was a new group. And Vice President of CrowdStrike, Threat Intelligence Vice President Adam Myers, was invited to hearings. And in these hearings, there is an official document where he stated that this attack was attributed by CrowdStrike to Ember Bear group. This is the first time we see that WhisperGate was attributed to Ember Bear, which was Russian Nexus threat actor. It was not clear which specific military unit Ember Bear was at that time. And later, like 1 year later, Microsoft came with the renaming attribution, APT attribution ID from dev to Cadet Blizzard. This is a new APT attribution name. And still, Microsoft uses this Cadet Blizzard to identify the specific military unit of GRU, Russian Military Intelligence Group. And, but probably the report that the paper that was published and revealed the majority of details about the cyber operation was indictment from a Maryland court that was created in August 2024 and published on the website of Department of Justice on 5th of September 2024, where they actually specifically point to persons and military unit in GRU. And they say, okay, this is Ember Bear, and then the list of GRU officers and technical specialists. And final, like a year later, 2025, on May 31st, the Insider, and one of the co-authors of this publication was Krista Groziev, they published the really detailed investigation about this military unit of GRU. And they actually managed to hijack into the mail server, into the server of this GRU unit, and extract all mailings, all information about all operations in the establishment of this military unit and this threat actor. So now we have like starting from 2022, when the attack WhisperGate campaign happened, it was attributed to GRU. Until now, we have full picture who is behind this attack, how many persons worked, who are the officers and the technical specialists. So,
Back one. You see here, it's not simple to track this team because this is one of the major problems that we have in attribution. So who is Ember Bear? They showed up 2021 as a part of GRU unit 29155. They are mostly known for assassination of the Salisbury. They have the most target they have is destabilization. They are so mistrust. The VADA incident where they tried to both steal and change drug. You know what WADA is? That's Olympic Committee's anti-drug committees organization. And that was because they stopped a lot of Russian OS Olympic to participate because they say they were using drugs or hormones. So this is a typically very state-sponsored unit. They have been involved in a lot of conflicts. They are at least an elite sabotage unit. And before 2021, they have very limited IT skills. And today, GRU are recruiting new students or employees. This is a conference, Positive Hack Days. I was there in 2017, 2018 in Moscow. It was a light black hat conference. Now, here, you see the cities they are building up. A lot of the equipment they have, how can they have a Swedish speed cam? They have it. They steal equipment in Western Europe and put it there and ask students to hack it, and then they employ the good students. So, sorry, what happened? So, method of attribution, IOCs. I don't know how much you work with attribution, but that is a part of the forensic work where you try to find evidence that you can collect and connect to different teams and groups, the APT groups. So IOCs, tactics, techniques, procedures, how they do it, what metadata they have. For instance, the WhisperGate, they were deployed in 70 different 70 different organizations within Ukraine, but the time difference of compile time was less than seconds, even if it was deployed in Kharkiv, Kiev, Odessa, or Lviv. So this is what we use when we do. Normally I have a very old, stylish Excel sheet, and we're going to talk, Alex is going to talk more about how we do it more. We have one thing, that's tags. Government organizations like the new Ember Bear, they don't want to advertise that they did it. Other organizations like Sandworm, they are more like showing off. So they can tag. They use, that's why we call them Sandworm, they use names from a movie. But of course, OSINT is also a very part of it, because OSINT where we can choose the stolen data, how they use the stolen data. Do they sell it? Do they use it? Or just deliver it for bad purpose? So this is one of the big challenges that we have. The biggest one I see is that the company, the security vendors like ESET, Kaspersky, they changed them. They changed the name. They have the different name of the APT groups. They have the different name of the malware. So it's very tricky for us when we do the analyze, how to follow who did what. So other parts they use code snippets from each other. They steal, they borrow. They even use different teams, use different stuff from each other. And of course, they can also do what we also see here before. They use parts that to showing it's someone else who did it. That is what we call false flag. And in the end, it's very tricky to choose and produce good reports so decision can be made about who did it. So attribution is both a technical and political process, and always comes with uncertainty.
Thank you, Anders. I would add to the hiring mechanism, which is quite interesting, that Ember Bear, this specifically military unit, consists of like two generations of people. One are like old GRU officers, intelligence officers that have really weak technical skills. And that's why the insider managed to get into the server and exfiltrate all the information about the previous operations. And the young cohort of youth that Anders mentioned, they hire talents from military academies. They hire talented students from military academies, and these students are responsible for actually for the technical part. And all these pieces, sophisticated pieces of malware that we experience, actually these were created not by GRU officers, old officers, but rather than just new generations of specialists. So going back to attribution, so how can we attribute the group, the campaign? So one, and probably the most reliable way, is to perform manual analysis. I call it human analysis, where you try to find different TTP, similar TTPs and indicators in different campaigns. And if you have a new campaign, then you try to find the similarities in the previous campaigns. And one of the interesting peculiarities that combines WhisperGate operation with the Ember Bear's previous operations is actually using Discord. Discord as a mechanism to share the files, to propagate malware. So it was until recently it was possible to upload the attachment into the Discord thread, and then you can download this malware from CDN, Content Distribution Network, available by Discord. As you can see, this is actually attachment. The malware was attached to Discord. And same trick was used in other attack against energy sector of Ukraine, attributed to Ember Bear, that happened a little bit later on February 1st, 2022. So they also used Discord to propagate. Then, according to CISA Cybersecurity Advisory, published on Russian military cyber actors target US and global critical infrastructure, they identified that the files uploaded to Discord, they have clusters. And in the same cluster with part of the WhisperGate campaign, this JPEG file is actually file wiper, obfuscated file wiper, which was uploaded to Discord. In the same cluster, they discovered Saint.exe, which is a Saint bot. Saint bot is not development of Ember Bear, but another group called Saint Bear. It's also a Russian Nexus threat actor. But the thing is that Ember Bear also used this SaintBot malware in their operations. So in such a way, you can find these similarities between the groups. Probably there is also like a resource sharing between different GRU units, but also it helps to identify, okay, if these two signs we seen and attributed to Ember Bear, then it's probably with high probabilities also Ember Bear. But this is was mostly assumption. And if we go to AI and using traditional machine learning classifiers, like I tried different algorithms that implement just traditional classifier algorithms, and the majority of algorithms told me that based on indicators and TTPs used in WhisperGate campaign, it is attributed to Sandworm. Sandworm, it's or Voodoo Bear, it's another military unit, but also related to GRU. Sandworm is known to conduct operations, also destructive operations against energy infrastructure in Ukraine. Then, however, some of the algorithms, they identified that, okay, it belongs to Ember Bear. For example, Gaussian naive bias algorithm. But since 2022, we got ChatGPT. It's, I think, the first version of ChatGPT was available online since 2020, since autumn 2022, and now we have a possibility to use generative AI to also to apply it for solving attribution. This is my first attempt to use ChatGPT. I uploaded indicators of compromise of WhisperGate campaign. And then I asked ChatGPT, okay, based on these indicators provided for WhisperGate, can you please attribute this campaign to known threat actors? And here are the results. So with the higher likelihood has a sandworm, then APT29, Gamaridon, Wizard Spider, and even Lazarus Group. Lazarus Group is a North Korean APT. But when I provided report about Ember Bear operations, and the good thing with GenAI that you actually don't need to extract indicators. You can basically load the whole report into a context window. And then after that, ChatGPT provided correct attribution, and the Ember Bear was most likely, the WhisperGate was most likely attributed to Ember Bear. So this was a quite interesting experiment based on this WhisperGate case study. And this revealed some problems, but also some advantages that attribution process may have. The first one is, of course, there is a problem with there is no unified naming convention. So every vendor provides its own ID names for the threat actors. Sometimes this ID belongs to multiple groups, and they have overlap of TTPs for different groups. Second point is GenAI can actually help with the extracting indicators from reports, because for example, it is capable of extracting the data from reports, from intelligence reports, and it can also enable new methods for attribution. For example, there was research from Checkpoint where they used linguistic analysis, and they analyzed the messages published in Telegram channels of different threat actors. So linguistic analysis is a new way how you can attribute a threat actor. As I said, easier collection of indicators from heterogeneous data. You just load their threat intelligence report. You don't need to extract or classify, structure the data. And in such a way, you can achieve higher attribution, high accuracy for attribution. And currently, the project I'm working on is building agentic-based malware lab, where you can introduce different personas, AI-based personas, that could help you to do malware research and, of course, attribution. One of the agents is devoted to, is going to be devoted to APT attribution. So that's all. Thank you for attention.